Have you ever wondered why some women never chase, never beg, never lose themselves in love, but still they are the ones who are cherished, adored, and chosen? Why is it that she doesn't argue, doesn't try to force anything, and yet he can't stop thinking about her? It's not luck. It's not timing. It's emotional intelligence. And once you understand it, everything will change. Not just how love feels, but how it flows to you. A woman with emotional intelligence doesn't beg to be loved. She doesn't lose sleep trying to control how he feels. She doesn't need constant validation to know where she stands. She knows herself. She understands her emotions and, more importantly, she knows how to hold space for both her feelings and his without losing her power. That kind of woman doesn't chase attention. She attracts devotion. There's a reason the ocean doesn't run after the waves. It knows the tide always returns to where it belongs, just like a woman who leads with grace, softness, and calm strength. She doesn't need to yell to be heard. Her silence speaks. Her presence lingers. Her energy is unforgettable. In relationships, many women think they need to be louder, sweeter, more giving to be loved. But the truth is, love doesn't bloom in noise. It grows in presence. When she knows how to respond instead of react. When she pauses instead of explodes. When she listens deeper than he expects. That's when something inside him shifts. He starts to lean in. He starts to see her differently because she feels like peace in a world full of noise. And maybe you've been the woman who loved deeply and ended up hurt. Maybe you've given everything to a man who gave you barely enough. Maybe you were the one who stayed up wondering what went wrong while he moved on like it meant nothing. But hear this now, that pain you carry, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's proof that you feel deeply, and now you get to use that depth to rise. Because this is where everything changes. This is where you stop shrinking for love and start standing in it. Not as the woman who begs to be chosen, but as the woman who knows her energy is the gift. And that, lovely woman, is the moment you stop surviving love and start reigning in it. You are not broken. You are learning to live like a queen. If these words touched something deep inside you, if they reminded you of your worth, your strength, your softness that is not weakness but quiet power, then take a moment, beautiful soul, and like this video. Subscribe to the channel because we are working with all our heart to bring you the truth, the healing, and the guidance you deserve. This space is for you, to rise, to remember, and to reign. Number 1. She doesn't explode, she observes. And that silence, it's louder than any argument he'll ever have. Have you ever noticed how the loudest person in the room often feels the most unheard? In love, it's easy to think the one who shouts, cries, or pleads has the most power. But the truth? The real power is in the woman who says nothing, the one who watches instead of reacts, the one who feels everything but doesn't need to explode to be felt. He may expect anger, drama, maybe even tears, but when he's met with calm silence, that's when he realizes something deeper is happening, and that's what stays with him. An emotionally intelligent woman doesn't rush to defend herself. She doesn't explain her worth. She lets her stillness speak. Because silence, when it comes from strength, is the loudest answer a man will ever hear. She observes. She reads him. She notices the tone in his voice, the shift in his energy, the weight of what he doesn't say. And while he thinks she's quiet because she's unsure, he doesn't know. She's already making the choice to protect her peace. There's a quote that says, "Speak only if it improves the silence." And in love, especially when it's being tested, emotional intelligence is knowing that not every battle is worth fighting out loud. Sometimes the most powerful move is to say nothing and let your distance do the talking. Think of a still lake. The water doesn't move, but it reflects everything around it with perfect clarity. That's her. She reflects his actions without needing to match his noise. And that's silence. It hits him harder than any shouting ever could, because silence makes space for reflection, and in that space he starts to feel what he took for granted. And maybe you've been told you're too calm, too quiet, too collected, but lovely woman, don't ever mistake your calmness for weakness. It's your crown. Your silence isn't empty, it's sacred. It's strength that doesn't need to prove itself. Because the moment you stopped reacting, you took back all your power. This is your reminder. You are not small for staying silent. You are strong for standing in it. You are learning to live like a queen. And queens do not scream to be seen. They are felt in every room they enter, even in their quietest moments. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence is my power. Let it be known, beautiful queens, that your strength speaks even when your lips don't. And if this message reached into your heart, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here, working with everything we have to bring you the kind of truth that sets your soul on fire. Number 2. She doesn't need to control him. She controls herself, and that makes her unforgettable. Have you ever noticed how silence can shake a room more than shouting ever could? How the quietest woman in the room can carry the deepest strength? He expected you to scream, to cry, to beg, but you didn't. You sat there, still, calm, unreadable, and in that silence, he felt something he couldn't explain, because you weren't silent from weakness, you were silent from wisdom. An emotionally intelligent woman doesn't explode. She observes. She watches what he says, how he moves, how he shifts. And while he's too distracted to realize, she's already seen everything she needs to see. She doesn't need to yell to prove a point. She lets her stillness speak. She lets her energy do the talking. And when she goes quiet, that's when he realizes he messed up. Never waste your strength proving what silence can reveal, a wise woman once said. And it's true, when a woman knows her emotions, understands her triggers, and chooses control over chaos, that's power most men aren't ready for. Because he expected fireworks, but what he got was a storm in stillness. No sound, no tears, just silence that echoed louder than any scream. Think of a candle in a dark room. It doesn't flash or scream for attention. It just shines, steady, soft, strong. That's her. She doesn't need to light the whole world on fire to be seen. Her glow is constant. And when he walks away, thinking he's in control, it's only when the light is gone that he feels the cold. That's when he looks back, because silence made more impact than words ever could. In relationships, he may try to test her, push her, see how far he can go. But she doesn't bite, she doesn't beg, she just watches, and when the time is right, she makes her decision, without a scene, without a warning, and that haunts him. Because the woman who stays calm when she could have exploded is the one he never forgets. You, beautiful woman, are not here to scream for love. You are here to be love. You are not broken. You are learning to live with grace, like a queen who reigns in quiet fire. The power in your silence is the lesson he will never stop remembering. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My silence holds more power than any words. Let the world know you no longer argue for love. You stand in it. We are here, working with heart and fire to bring you life-changing lessons so you can stop surviving love and start ruling it. Number 3. She doesn't chase him, she attracts him by knowing when to let him go. Have you ever noticed how the more you chase him, the further he runs? Like holding sand too tightly in your hand, it slips right through your fingers. That's not because you aren't worthy. It's because real love isn't pulled by pressure, it's drawn in by power. And emotional intelligence? That's the power, not in how loud you speak, but in how confidently you walk away when you are no longer seen. He expected you to cling. He thought you'd fight for a place in his life, beg for his time, try to win his attention back. But you didn't. You stepped back. You let him go. And that, beautiful woman, is the very moment he started to feel the shift. Because while you released him, he started to feel your absence like a weight. And that's when the attraction truly began. Not because you chased, but because you didn't. Sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. That's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's grace. When you stop running after someone who doesn't see you, you're not giving up. You're giving in to your own worth. It's like a magnet. When you hold still in your strength, what is meant for you feels it, and it returns. Not out of guilt, not out of fear, out of respect. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't run through storms begging ships to see it. It stands tall, it shines, and the lost always look for the light. You are that light. But the chase, that dims your glow. Letting go is not walking away. It's allowing him to realize what he lost when he let you go. He will think about your calm when others bring drama. He will remember how you let him go when others try to cling. And that's when the truth will hit. He didn't lose just a woman. He lost something rare. But by then, you'll be living, rising, healing. Not because he came back, but because you stopped waiting. You are not here to beg for love. You are here to be loved right. You are not broken, dear woman. You are learning to live like a queen. And queens do not chase. Queens attract by knowing when to let go. Write this in the comments and claim it. I attract, I don't chase. We are working every day to create lessons that awaken your strength and help you reign in love and in life. Number 4. She reads between his words, but she only stays if his actions match. Have you ever listened to what he says and still felt something was missing? Like his words were right, but his energy was off. Like he said he cared, but your heart told you otherwise. That's not overthinking. That's your emotional intelligence speaking. And the woman who learns to trust that feeling, the woman who learns to match words with action, she is the one who wins. Because she knows love isn't built on promises. It's built on patterns. He can say all the right things. He can tell you you're special, tell you he wants something real, tell you he's not going anywhere. But if he disappears when it matters most, if his actions fall flat while his words fly high, you will feel that mismatch. And a woman who is emotionally intelligent does not ignore that feeling. She doesn't stay because of sweet words. She stays because of solid actions. Don't listen to what he says. Watch what he builds with you. Because love is not a poem. It's a partnership. And if he says he loves you, but never shows up when you need him, what is he really offering? An emotionally intelligent woman pays attention not just to what he says, but what he chooses, every day, in big ways and small. Think of a garden. A man can promise you roses, but if he never waters the soil, nothing will grow. That's what emotional intelligence teaches you, to look beyond the seeds of intention and check the soil of effort. If he isn't tending to your love, if he isn't nurturing the connection, then words mean nothing. And you deserve more than empty blooms. You may have once stayed with a man because he said all the things you wanted to hear. You may have convinced yourself to hold on just a little longer. But now, you are not that woman anymore. You've grown, you've risen, and now you walk with a wisdom that cannot be tricked by pretty sentences. Dear lady, you are not broken. You are learning to live as a queen. You don't stay because of promises. You stay when his actions prove his love over and over again. You don't chase. You don't settle. And when his actions fail to match his words, you walk with grace, with fire, with power. Affirm this now in the comments, queens. I trust actions, not words. Write it, claim it, live it. And if this truth touched your heart, if it reminded you of what you already know deep down, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to settle. You were meant to reign. Number 5. She sets boundaries without saying a word, and he feels them like a wall he cannot climb. ChatGPT said, "Have you ever noticed how a room changes when she stops talking, not out of anger, but out of clarity, not because she wants to punish, but because she's done over-explaining? That silence, that calm, distant silence, it hits harder than any scream ever could. And when he finally realizes what's missing, he won't hear her voice. He'll feel the wall she built without ever lifting a brick. That's emotional intelligence. That's the kind of woman who wins at love without ever having to beg for it. She doesn't set boundaries with long speeches. She doesn't argue to prove her point. She simply changes her energy, steps back, and lets her actions speak. She doesn't say, enough. She becomes it. And when she does, he feels it. Like a door that was once open, now quietly closed. He reaches for her and touches nothing but space. That's when the regret begins. True power is calm. Those 5 words hold a truth so deep, it can break a man in silence, because she once gave everything, her love, her time, her loyalty. And when she pulls that energy back, it's not revenge, it's reality. She gave him access to a heart not everyone deserves, and now she's locking that gate with grace. Think of a garden. A peaceful, beautiful garden where she let him walk freely, breathe in her softness, rest in her shade. But when he started pulling at her roots, when he stepped carelessly on her petals, she didn't yell. She simply closed the gate. And now, he's outside, and no matter how loud he knocks, she's not opening it again. Because queens don't open doors for those who walked through them like they didn't matter. Lovely woman, maybe you were once afraid to set boundaries. Maybe you thought that love meant giving all of yourself, even when it hurt. But hear this now. A boundary is not a wall that keeps love out. It is a door that only opens for the right one. A man who truly values you will feel your limits and rise to meet them. The one who doesn't, let him feel the cold air of your silence. You are not asking for too much. You are just asking the wrong man. This is your time to live, not as the woman who breaks, but as the woman who builds herself, her peace, her empire. Write this in the comments and claim it, queens. My boundaries are the proof of my power. We're here for you, working with all our heart to bring you the life-changing lessons you deserve, because your love is powerful, and now it's time the world sees it. Number 6. She doesn't prove her worth, she embodies it. And when he finally sees her, it's already too late. Have you ever noticed how he only starts seeing your worth when your energy no longer reaches for him? when your smile no longer bends for his attention, when your silence says what your words no longer need to explain. It's not that he didn't see you before. It's that he didn't believe you'd ever stop trying. But now he watches in disbelief because the woman who once tried to prove her worth has become the woman who no longer needs to. A woman who is emotionally intelligent doesn't waste her time convincing him to stay. She doesn't argue her value. She doesn't compete with another woman. She becomes the value. She shows up for herself first. And that is when everything changes, because the moment he realizes she is not waiting for love, love starts chasing her. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be one." And that's exactly what she does. She doesn't need to explain how loyal she was, how deeply she loved, how much she gave. Her presence speaks louder than any apology he could offer. She embodies the kind of love he didn't know how to receive until it was gone. Think of the moon. It never rushes, never demands to be seen. But when it rises, the whole world notices. Its light doesn't beg, it simply shines. That's how she moves now. She doesn't ask to be chosen. She knows she is the choice. She knows that love built on proving is not love. It's survival. And she has no interest in surviving anymore. She came to reign. And maybe he thought you would always be there. Maybe he thought no matter what, you'd keep trying. But dear woman, those days are over. The version of you who begged for breadcrumbs is gone. Now you walk like the crown was always yours. Now you don't need him to recognize your worth because you've already claimed it. This is not the end of your story. This is where your power begins. This is where the world meets the woman who no longer explains herself. She shows up and lets her presence speak for her. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I no longer prove. I am the proof. We are here to bring you life-changing truth, to help you rise, to remind you that you are not meant to chase. You are meant to reign. Number 7. She turns pain into power, and that power makes her untouchable. Have you ever looked at the pain he left you with and thought, this might break me? That feeling in your chest, the silence he left behind, the questions that never got answered. It all felt like too much. But here's the truth that changes everything. Pain is not your prison. It is your power. And when a woman learns how to rise through her pain instead of sink in it, she becomes untouchable. That is the quiet strength of emotional intelligence. She doesn't pretend it doesn't hurt. She doesn't lie to herself. She feels every part of it, but then she uses it to grow, not to break. A wise soul once said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." And that's exactly what happens when she stops seeing heartbreak as the end and starts seeing it as a beginning. He thought she would crumble. He thought she would wait, stay stuck, disappear into sadness. But she didn't. She became more aware, more grounded, more in tune with who she really is. She no longer lives for who he was. She rises for who she's becoming. Think of a volcano. On the surface, it looks like destruction, but after the fire, after the eruption, what it leaves behind is the richest soil on earth. That's the kind of woman who turns pain into power. She may have been burned by love, but now everything she touches grows from that fire. She doesn't carry bitterness. She carries wisdom. She doesn't chase him anymore because she's too busy attracting something better, something real, something worthy. And maybe, beautiful woman, you're standing in that fire right now. Maybe your heart is still hurting. Maybe you're still wondering why he couldn't see your value. But that's not your reflection. It's his blindness. He couldn't meet you where you were rising. And now, He'll watch as the woman he underestimated becomes the woman he cannot reach. Because this is what it means to live as a queen. A queen doesn't hide her scars. She wears them like medals. A queen doesn't let pain define her. She lets it refine her. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt into something stronger than ever. Write this in the comments and claim it. My pain became my power. Let the world see the fire you've survived and the strength you've become. Queens, if this spoke to your heart, if it reminded you of who you truly are, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working every day to bring you powerful, life-changing lessons because you were never meant to be destroyed by love. You were meant to rise in it.